Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. First, shout out to Passport OG. On his most recent upload with Modern Women Have Forgotten, there's a man named D'Coldest Jenkins, and D'Coldest Jenkins explains 4 reasons to choose the Passport. 1, and shout out to D'Coldest for this. He says he's not obligated to be the cleanup man for Pookie and Ray Ray and them because he's short, not hood, nice, stable, not the most popular, etc. And these are his words. Number 2, he asks, why should he do anything that Pookie, Ray Ray, and Don Tavius with the waves in his hair never had to do? He doesn't want to pay for what they got for free. These are valid reasons. 3, Western sisters upset with non-select black men opting for passports because they want us to be their safety net backup plans and beta buck providers when they've hit the wall and had a bunch of kids. So after they've been run through by the same 20% of guys that are running through all the other women in the same city, I think it's down to 7%. That makes it even worse. Number 4, he says, non-select men, go get your passports and don't look back because overseas, being under 6 foot doesn't mean that you're friend zone and giving foodie calls and run game on. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars to a scam artist dating coach to tell you a bunch of BS, and that's very important. Because what are these scam artist dating coaches not telling you, gentlemen? Real simple. D'Coldest alludes to this, although he doesn't explicitly state one of these things, and I'm going to explicitly state it because it's important for you men to know this. And it's one of the most dangerous it's one of the most dangerous things for women if men know in the West. That is, it's not your fault. One of the most dangerous things for men to know, as far as women are concerned, is that it ain't even your fault. A minimum of 85% of you ain't gonna be selected. In the West, it's gonna be worse because the women are trained to follow the same standards. So regardless of the individual taste, it's the same 85 to 93% for all of the women that ain't gonna be with nobody, because they're all going to pick only the same few 15% to 7%. See, maybe in Japan you could be one woman's type and not another, and you know what? If you're her type and she's your type, you can match her. Another woman will leave her the hell alone. It could be like that elsewhere. It ain't like that. You already know in the West it's not that way. It is not that way in the West. You already understand that. In the West, you are required. As a woman, you are required to pick the same men that the other women pick. You don't get to have your own individual taste and choose by that. Keep that in mind too. Keep in mind they ain't playing with you. It's an elimination. So in a case like that, how could it be your fault? It's not. And so that leads me to my next point. And the next point is, shout out to Dat Boy Will. 3 days ago, he put up a post in his community tab in which he said, you can't whoop everybody. Don't let a 304 get you sent up to the upper room. And then he shows a screenshot which appears to have been taken from Twitter. And a woman says, the men that let you dress sexy because they're secure and can fight. And another woman chimes in the comments and says, oh shoot, man, shuck that fit. He was nice and redacted their names. I'm going to blow up the spot and give you their first names. I don't know. The first one that made that post, I don't know a last name, but the first name is Jamia or Jamaya. J-A-apostrophe-M-I-A. I don't know a last name, so I can't really dox her like that. And yeah, this is war, so I dox and I don't tolerate being doxxed. But this isn't really a doxing because I don't know her last name. I don't have any other information. I just don't think there are too many people with her name. Another, the one that chimed in and said, or shoot, has the last name has the first name Ayana. I don't know what her last name is, but it starts with a H-A-N. She's the one that chimed in, or shoot. What do you think they're trying to do? See, gentlemen, understand this. If she's okay with getting you into fights on her behalf, dump her. She don't care about you. She wants you gone. But also understand that most of you are going to be that dude. Even a woman in the comments underneath this post, not the Twitter post, but underneath that boy Will's post sharing the screenshot of the Twitter post, said that a woman that loves a man would never say this. It's a sad state of affairs. It's about respect for herself and her man. It's not about a man being insecure or not being able to fight. That mindset is childish as a cuss word, but the fact remains that that's what's out there. Most of them are going to have a mindset like this when they're young and they're fertile, and most of you gentlemen are going to be the sacrificial lambs in their minds or invisible. That's what's out there. That's what's out there waiting. And it ain't your fault, gentlemen. Because you ain't selected, you're not the man for whom they're even dressing like this. Because you aren't selected, you're the man that gets to provide and protect. And when they've gotten what they want, then they can dress like this, get you into an argument or a fight, and then either you are deleted or you win the fight, but then you go up the river or to the hospital. Either way, you are then removed. Once the conflict occurs, you're removed. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, you're removed. That's who they are. That's how they are. They can't see it some other way. You have a minimum of an 85% chance, probably 90% chance of being that dude that's expendable. And not even the dude whose attention she was really hoping to get, or whose attention would flatter her when she got it by dressing that way. And so one of the most controversial things for you to know, ironically, is that it ain't your fault. That's the last thing that they even want you to understand or figure out or ever be told or ever know. That it's not even your fault. You didn't do anything to deserve to be in that unwanted and unrespected and unappreciated category of men. It ain't you. Never was. They're not going to tell you that. Because see, once you know that it wasn't you, that you didn't do it, that it ain't your fault, then you don't blame yourself. And once you don't blame yourself, you are then free. See, self-blame and accountability are not really shackles when you're blaming yourself for that which you've actually done. But when you blame yourself for things that you did not do, that's bondage. And they don't want that freedom for you. They want that bondage for you. They know that. And if they can get you thinking that there's something wrong with you because they didn't pick you, even though they ain't gonna pick the majority and the bulk, even if you all self-improved, if all of you had your body game up, if all of you went to the gym, if all of you did these things, they know to a certain extent that they would still reject 85 at a minimum, probably up to 93% of you. And the treatment would still be the same. That you would get, the results would still be the same that you would get. They know this. They just don't fivaguk. And they don't have the decency to tell you that. That's the secret right there. You were born into a situation to be blamed for that which was beyond your control anyway. And the most controversial thing for you to know is that it's not your fault. You didn't do it. You didn't set it up. You're not to blame. There's nothing you did. And to make matters worse, as you move and as you, as a young guy, when you start to meet them and interact with them, they're sitting up here plotting and planning ways for you to be taken out. And for what? Because they just want to move on to the next. You're the protector, you're the provider, you're the beta for doing it in their minds. That's it. They disdain you. And then you do these things. And then one day, they decide, you know what? Let's go to the mall. And they knowingly put on too little because they're trying to get somebody's attention so that you then have to say something and you then got to stand up for them. That's the day, understand this, that's the day they're planning to get rid of you. Because ain't no right way to deal with a situation like that. And if you say, you and I ain't going out together with you dressed like that, what's wrong? You insecure? Oh, you must can't fight. It's always questioning your manhood. And that's because that's the game. Question your manhood instead of admitting that they're effing childish. No, it's you. You just ain't no real man. It's already so bad at this point that your bipedalism makes them suspect you ain't a real man. You eat vegetables, they already suspect you ain't a real man. You might drink water sometimes, they already suspect you ain't a real man. You know how they have those, had some of those TikToks, light skin versus dark skin, how light skinned men do certain things, how dark skinned men do certain things. And they're jokes. But you gotta understand, you're dealing with a set of ladies, you're dealing with a set of women that are in their 20s and 30s, seeing these videos and believing them. That's just one of the reasons they're willing to believe that a man is not a man. Being light-skinned, that's just one. Hey, being literate is another. You're dealing with some hyper-hybristomaniacs. You can't win, so don't blame yourself, gentlemen. But more importantly, those of you in my audience already know this. Don't blame yourself, so what do? Spread the word. And one of the reasons I've been telling us to go and tell these young brothers, they could be as young as 11 now, I've been telling us to go and tell these young brothers what I'm telling you, is because that's one of the things that's going to undermine the custom that many of us have, even within the black manosphere, that backwards custom many of us have of validating men through women's validation. Well, you don't bit gitches, so you ain't no real man, you ain't no alpha, because the Western sisters don't want you. You ain't one of them dudes they willing to share, so you ain't no real man. Dude, most guys in general won't be that. That's who they are. How's that gonna be your fault? You ain't alpha. Well, I mean, what is an alpha? You a loser. how are you gonna be anything else when you're dealing with sisters anyway? You're dealing with sisters, you already gonna be a loser. 85% chance of that. Get sick and tired of these customs being passed down. And if you spread this to the cats that are as young as 11, that stuff's gonna quit and stop. You succeed in that, it stops. And this is the time when the iron is hot. This is the time to strike. I hope this helps. Thank you for listening. As always, Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout, Assalamu Alaikum, and Black Heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and Black Patriarchy until extinction or Judgment Day. Thanks again for flying with me on Jet Black Airways, where Jet Black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with me till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender justice forever, and if you can, hit that Cash App on the way out of the Jet Black aircraft for Brother Hayes and his co-writer. Till next time.